Hello guys and welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be going through my personal Premier League Team of the Season predictions in this video. But before we get into, guys, please smash that like and subscribe button as well. Currently on 149 subscribers, so if you could subscribe, that would mean a lot and it would really help me out, so thank you very much. And yeah, let's get right into it. So first off, in goal, we're going to be going with Edison in goal. He's got the most clean sheets in the Premier League this year, partly because of the defence in front of him, which has really helped him out, but nonetheless, I mean, the amount of clean sheets he's been keeping has been astronomical. So there's no way he doesn't get into this team of the season, because yeah, it's absolutely wild the season that he's having. Also, he'll be winning the Premier League, so you know, it's not exactly an easy thing to do, is it? Some might say again, the defence is the reason for it, but nonetheless, he's been great. Now we're going to go to right back with João Cancelo. He's been absolutely fantastic this season. He had he had a rocky start when he first came to the Prem last year, but this year he's really come to his own form. Defensively, he's decent, but going forward, he has been exceptional. And he's been part of that Man City backline as well that's kept an extremely crazy amount of clean sheets. And has also scored the most goals in the Premier League. So he's been good going forward and backwards. Now, to actually, what some people would say, maybe even the player of the year, Ruben Diaz. He signed for Man City for like 50 million, something like that. And he's just been so good. He's been so good in the Premier League. He's quite young as well. I think he's only like 23 or 24, so he's really young. He's come with a big price tag, and he's pretty much revolutionised that City defence. He's been an absolute rock. Certainly the best defender in the Premier League this year by a long way, with Van Dijk being out, so probably one of the best in Europe at the moment. He's been absolutely insane, alongside his partner in crime, John Stones. Now, he signed for Man City from Everton for about 50 million. He's received a lot of stick in the past, like a lot of stick. But this year, he's really come to his own. Since he signed for Man City, he's been so inconsistent, and he's been terrible at times. This year, he's actually been quite consistent. Also chipped in with a few goals as well. He's been really good just defensively. He looks really solid. He has had a couple of off games where, you know, he doesn't exactly look himself, but it's John Stones. Like, he's going to have that. He's not exactly the best friend in the world, but this season, him and Ruben Diaz certainly have been by far the best two centre-backs in the Premier League. Now, move to left-back with a revitalised Luke Shaw. Alex Telles signed for Man United for about 17 million. Looked like Luke Shaw might lose his place. Telles was going to come in. Luke Shaw obviously getting that double leg break back in 2015 when he first signed. I mean, you know, that was sad to see. He came back under Jose Mourinho, absolutely destroyed his confidence. Luke Shaw looked out of it. Looked like Man United were going to sign a new left back under Jose. That didn't really happen. Luke Shaw just didn't really get into the team because Ashley Young was playing ahead of him somehow. And yeah, Luke Shaw, he just couldn't get a look in. I mean, last year under Ollie, he was playing decent, but he wasn't anything special. This year, Telles has come in. The competition has really pushed him into his own. And I, as a Man United fan, would personally say that he's actually been our player of the year. And I think he's certainly a contender for player of the year, because as a left back, he has been absolutely mesmerising this year. So good going forward, so good going back as well. He's created like the most chances in the Premier League or something stupid like that. It's crazy. He's just so good, Luke Shaw. Really come to his own this year. I think he deserves a lot of praise for how far he's come. Now, Ilkay Gundogan is who we're going to go next to. What a season he's having. He scored so many goals this year. And such an integral part of Man City's title charge, really. I mean, he's just been absolutely amazing. I think he's got like 12 goals this year, which is crazy for a midfielder. And the season's not even over. I think De Bruyne, who I still think is probably the best midfielder in the world, can't lie. But I mean, Gundogan's certainly been Man City's best player by far this year. De Bruyne's kind of maybe had a bit of an off season, so you know, he's had an injury as well. Aguero's not really been at it. Ilkay Gundogan's certainly been the main man at City this year, in my opinion. I think without him, do they win the title? Yeah, probably, but not by like 10 points. Like, they win it by like 2 or 3, I think. Like, he's just been so good. He's been so good. He's come up with so many winning goals. He's been the difference in so many matches as well. And he won 2 back-to-back Player of the Months. So, yeah, Gundogan, since he signed, he's been a bit of a rotation, a bit part player, some might say. this year. He's really just become the main man, almost out of nowhere. But yeah, now we move to Paul Pogba, Mr. Paul Pogba. Probably ability-wise, one of the best midfielders in the world. He's been very inconsistent since he signed for Man United under Jose Mourinho. Had that like bust up with Jose. He didn't really perform then. Signed for about 90 million. So I mean, as a Man United fan again, certainly expected a lot more from him since he signed. But under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he looks a bit more steady. Obviously, he is looking to leave the club. Hopefully, he signs a new contract. But I mean, aside from that, he's been just so professional this year surrounding everything that's happened with his agent coming out, saying he wants to leave, blah, blah, blah. I think his performances on the pitch have been absolutely amazing. I mean, he scored the winning goal against Burnley, which took us to the top of the league. Winning goal against Fulham with an absolutely world-class strike of a goal. He's just been the difference in so many games this season. And I think, even with his injury of 1 month or 2 months, I think it was, like, he's just been so good. I think he's definitely Man United's best player by a long way. A long way. Like, there is no doubt in that. And I think he's one of the best players. On his day, he's one of the best players in the world. I think we just need more consistency from him. But I think certainly this year, he does deserve a Team of the Season card, because I think he's been so good when he has been playing. Now, moving to the cam position with Bruno Fernandes. Now, I'll claim that he's the best midfielder in the world with De Bruyne, because I really do think he is. As I said, Paul Pogba is levels above him, but like Bruno Fernandes is just the most important player at Man United right now. Like, there's no two ways about it. I think if Man United didn't have this guy, I think they're down in like probably with Arsenal. I think you're probably talking 8th or 9th. Like, they're nowhere near the top 6 without this guy. Nowhere near. He's scored so many goals this season. He's even, well, I mean, Harry Kane's kind of taken it away now, but he's even in a Golden Boot race. I mean, for a midfielder, yes, okay, a lot of them were penalties. He is a bit of Fernandes, but, you know, I think he scored 16 goals in the Premier League for a midfielder, and the only 2 players have more than him, which is Salah and Kane. And I think goals and assists combined, I think he's actually got the most, just behind Harry Kane as well. So he's been absolutely brilliant this year. I mean, there's no two ways about it. He's been so good, and I really do think he deserves a Team of the Season card for that. Now we move over to right wing with Mohamed Salah. Now, Liverpool haven't had the best of seasons, let's be honest. I think they're like 7th at the time of recording. You know, they're in a top 4 battle. They might not even get top 4. They're the defending champions. Obviously, yes, Van Dijk injury, Matip injury, Fabinho, Henderson injury, all of that, I get it. They've been so bad this year, let's just be real. But Salah's been kind of like a light in the dark kind of thing. Towards the end of the season, he's actually not been that good, but I think for the course of the season, 20 goals in a side that has been absolutely terrible, he's certainly been the man to keep Liverpool afloat at the moment, I think. Even just in the top 6, without him, I don't know where they are, because Mane's been crap, Firmino's been crap, both of them have been awful players. But Salah's got 20 goals, Kane's got 21, so he's only 1 behind the Golden Boot. He could win the Golden Boot in one of Liverpool's worst seasons in about 3-4 years. So that shows how good he actually has been. Obviously, again, some people might think that Salah's not had a good season because of Liverpool's situation, but this is an individual Team of the Season card, and individually Salah has been very good. Probably not near the level that he normally is, but he's still been exceptional, and he certainly deserves a right wing card. For FIFA, I'd probably give him like a 97 rate card, something like that. And move to striker with Harry Kane. Harry Kane the Hurricane, as they call him. He's so good in it. He's so good. Looking like he might go City, United, Real Madrid, some of these clubs that we're hearing. I don't know how he's still at Spurs, to be honest. I feel sorry for him. At Spurs. I mean, this guy is unbelievable. I think he's on par with Lewandowski as the best striker in the world. There's no two ways about it. His playmaking is absolutely unbelievable for a striker. The way he drops deep, collects the ball, passes it on, and his hold-up play is brilliant. And his finishing, oh my god, he's the best finisher in the Premier League by like a long way. He's unbelievable. Some of the goals he scored have been ridiculous. I think he's top scorer right now with 21 goals at the moment. He's been so good, and he's a top scorer with 21 goals, and he's had loads of injuries this year. So just shows you how good he is. I think with with Aguero drop off and leaving, and like he's so clearly, for me, the best player in the Premier League. I don't think there's two ways about it. He's been the best player in the Premier League this year. Would I say this year actually? He's certainly a contender for it, yeah. Certainly a contender. It's arguable between maybe him, Bruno, Salah, whatever, and Ruben Diaz, but he's certainly the best player in the Premier League right now. He's so good. He's got the most goals. I think he's actually got the most assists as well. So for a striker to have the most assists in the Premier League is ridiculous. I think Spurs without Harry Kane are a finished club. I think they're worse than all. I don't even think they're in the top 10 without this guy. And we're going to the left wing now, Heung-min Son. I think without Harry Kane, Heung-min Son is not Heung-min Son, if you know what I mean. He does not put up the numbers he does without Kane. But yeah, let's get into Son now. This season, Son and Kane have been like probably the best partnership in the world, bar Neymar and Mbappe, and maybe Bruno and Rashford. Son and Kane have been absolutely mesmerizing. The goals and assists, the way they set each other up, overall play is so good. Like Son is brilliant. He really is brilliant. He's unbelievable. He's got 15 goals this year, so he's fourth in the goal scoring charts in the Premier League right now. He's just so good. He's just ridiculously good. And yeah, this is my starting 11. This is just the starting 11. Now we'll move on to the bench. In goal, Emi Martinez. I don't know why Arsenal didn't keep this guy. He is so good. He's such a good keeper. He's absolutely unbelievable. He is. I think going to Aston Villa was probably the best thing he could have done. I think Aston Villa have had a really good season this year. Unfortunate that they got a Jack Grealish injury towards the end of the season. Otherwise, they could have been looking at a Europa League spot, to be honest with you. But, I mean, this year, some of the saves he's made, some of the games he's kept Villa in, he's been unbelievable. To think Arsenal stuck with Leno and they let this guy go. Unlucky them. But, I mean, Martinez, he's been so good. And some might even say he's been better than Edison, but I put Edison in the starting 11 because of the amount of clean sheets he's kept. But some might say Martinez has made more saves, etc, etc. But certainly Martinez deserves to be in this team. Like, there's no two ways about it. Now, moving on to Thomas Souček. I think this is his first season in the Premier League after signing from Slavia Prague, I think it is. I mean, he's been so good in the Premier League this year. He scored like 9 goals in the Premier League for West Ham. West Ham might even get top 4. And this guy is probably the most integral part of that, alongside maybe Declan Rice, in my opinion, and Jesse Lingard. So yeah, Thomas Souček, he's just such a good footballer. He's so good. And I think, you know, if he doesn't get a team of the season, it's a robbery. I think it's an absolute robbery if he doesn't get a team of the season, because he's just been absolutely amazing. Now, move on to Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford, MBE. He's been so good. To be honest, I think it's even arguable that you could put him above Son, but I think this year we'll keep him on the bench. But you know what? Screw it. Rashford starting, Son's on the bench. Rashford has been so good this season. I think he's had an injury. He's had a shoulder injury that he's been carrying all season and playing with that injury. And yet, for a 23-year-old left winger, remember, left winger, the numbers he's putting up have been absolutely unbelievable. And the way he's going, I think he could potentially be one of the best players in Europe. Now we'll go down to Jack Grealish. I think, like, the way this guy plays football is just like, it's beautiful. It's so absolutely mesmerizing. I think on the ball, you know, he's the closest thing we're going to get to Eden Hazard, I think, currently right now. I mean, the way he just dribbles past players in the middle of the park like they're not even there and just glides across the pitch. Unbelievable. What he's doing at Aston Villa right now, probably like the main man there. He's the star of the project that's going on over at Aston Villa. I think without him, they're not really where they are right now. I think they're like 10th, so they're looking at top table. I think had this guy not gotten injured, you know, I think Villa are looking at Europa League spot. Maybe even, no, they wouldn't have got Champions League, but I think they were certainly looking at Europa League spot. But I mean, this guy is just unbelievable. He kept Villa in the Premier League last year, and now what he's done this year has been crazy. I mean, the amount of chances he creates for Ollie Watkins and the likes of Trezeguet and El Ghazi and Traore is ridiculous for Aston Villa. I think he's such an important player. He certainly deserves to get a Team of the Season card. Now, move on to this year's first Player of the Month card, which was Calvert-Lewin in the Premier League. He's been so good. Unfortunate to get a couple of injuries, but Everton have had an absolutely amazing season under Carlo Ancelotti. Calvert-Lewin, he's coming to his own this year. He's I think he's like 23 now. He's a very young player, but he's a very promising player. I think Everton are looking at being sort of like 7th or 6th with the game in hand, so they're looking at a European spot as well, if they can get that. Calvert-Lewin, he scored 14 goals this year with injuries, so he's had such a good year. He scores a variety of goals. He scores with both feet, with his head. He's just so good. He's such a good striker, and I think he's certainly one to be going to the Euros. Now, move on to Patrick Bamford. He was promoted from Leeds, and a lot of people doubted him. A lot of people said, this guy, he won't be able to do it in the Prem. Leeds need a new striker. They signed Rodrigo Moreno. Hasn't worked out for him because Bamford has been the main man over at Leeds alongside Rafinha. Them two have formed a really good partnership for Leeds. He scored 14 goals in the Premier League, so he's 5th in the goal scoring chart, and he's just been so good. I think getting promoted from the Championship is not easy. And we saw it with Timo Pukki, who came from the Championship with Norwich, and he scored like a hat-trick, and he scored a goal against Liverpool, and people were saying, oh, Pukki's going to win the Golden Boot, won the Player of the Month, dropped off. Couldn't handle the Prem. Bamford has come to the Prem and dominated. Former Chelsea Academy player, he got rejected, made his way at Leeds, come back fighting into the Premier League. I think what he's doing is absolutely amazing. 28 years of age now, so he's coming into his prime in the Premier League with Leeds, who are such a good side to watch, and I think Patrick Bamford's certainly been amazing. Now, move on to Anderson. Now, Anderson's a player that not a lot of people will be talking about, because he plays for Fulham, who look like they're going to get relegated. But actually, this year, he's been incredible for Fulham. He's been absolutely fantastic for Fulham at the back. Been nominated for a couple of Player of the Month awards as well. I think I don't know if he'll win it. I think he deserves it. I don't think he'll get it because of popularity, but I certainly think he definitely deserves a card, because this year he's been so good in the Premier League as a centre-back. He's on loan from Lyon as well, so this is his first year in the Premier League at a side that's not very good. I think when you're a centre-back at a club like Fulham or Brighton or, you know, Newcastle sides nearer to the bottom of the league, it's a lot harder because you concede more goals, so on stats you won't look that good. But I think when you actually watch him, watch some of the tackles he makes and the last ditch, like, he's very, very, very good centre-back. I think he's been very good in his first season in the Premier League. Now, last but not least, save the best for last, himself, Mr. Jay Lings. I think this guy, I want his team of the season. I'll do whatever it takes to get his team of the season. I want him in my team. I don't care. He's gone on loan from Manchester United to West Ham in January. Since he signed for West Ham, no player in the Premier League has scored more goals than him. Not one. Not Salah, not Kane, not Rashford, not Son, not Bruno, not De Bruyne, and all these players. Jay Lings has scored the most goals since he signed for West Ham than any player in the Premier League. Now, how crazy that is. This guy is absolutely unbelievable footballer. Like, for West Ham, the space that they get in the game, it just allows him to run, and he's just so good for West Ham. And I think he needs to make that move permanent for the good of his career. Because if he comes to Man United, he'll just be on the bench. He needs to stay at West Ham. He could be the main man there. He's worked his way into a Euro squad. I'm certain of it. If he doesn't get into the Euros, then I'm rioting, because he's been absolutely unbelievable, Jesse Lingard. He scored 10 goals in January. 10 goals. And if West Ham get top 4, they have this man to thank. Everyone made fun of him, right? He's come back and he's proved everyone wrong. And he certainly deserves a team of the season card. But yeah, guys, that's going to wrap up my team of the season prediction for the Premier League. If you like this video, please smash that like and subscribe button as well. Stay subscribed for a lot more videos like this during team of the season. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. I'm out. Peace.